Good morning, everybody. More crazy here. We had a good night's sleep last night. We got to just kind of chill. We didn't travel through the night because when the first started to get dark, it was real cloudy, so I didn't think the moon would be out very much. So I just anchored, and then I made some brats that I got in East Butte yesterday. It was just a real nice, relaxing night, and I got to rest and get a good night's sleep, so that tonight, which is the actual full moon, and it's supposed to be only a low of 50 instead of 30, I'm going to try to get a good 14, 15-hour day in is the plan. In case you guys were wondering why I use this neck pillow, it's because I have a bulged disc in my neck, and if I lay and sleep without it, I wake up in the morning and I can't use my hand because it pushes against my spinal cord, and it sucks. Then it takes a few hours for like the feeling and use of it to come back. So you gotta make do with what you can. We just had a boat go by, power boat, hauling ass, so that a big wake. Nothing's falling all over or anything, but there's a few things that can roll a little bit. I believe that noise. My water bottle. I was pretty tired last night. I just kind of set it down there, and I think I kicked it over in the middle of the night when I had to go and use our pee bottle over there to go to the bathroom. I'm gonna have to start trying to plan all that, where to put everything. You start to heal a lot more than when you're just motoring. Anyway, so I'm gonna get dressed, get back in the cabin, and we'll start planning out our day. We should be able to get down to about Savannah, Illinois. It's about 30 miles south of us. And then we'll get some gas and maybe check out, there's supposedly a really cool biker bar there, but I don't really like people. So I might just stay on the boat and keep going, because I want to be out in nature and enjoy that, and being on the boat, being one with the boat and the sea, well, river. So I'm gonna get back in the cabin there, get dressed, get my morning routine done, and we'll be back. All right, everybody, we are back in the cabin, all dressed. Did my sponge bath for the morning, like George Carlin used to say, armpits, asshole, crotch, and teeth. So we're good to go. I kind of waited a little while for it to warm up. I've been making good miles compared to what I thought I would by getting those extra 2 nights in. I thought I would actually be getting to DeBeek today, but I got there yesterday, so I kind of relaxed a little. The next plan is to head south to Savannah. There's a biker, like I was saying this morning, there's a biker bar there called Poopies that's supposed to be famous, but I kind of have social anxiety and I don't like people. So, just being honest, I might not go check it out, but I might. To me, motorcycles are really cool. I did motorcycles and had a motorcycle for a long time that I got to ride. But now I'm kind of in love with sailboats. Just being honest there too. Kind of have different phases in life and stuff, and a motorcycle is freedom on the land, and a sailboat is like freedom on the water. So it's kind of cool to get to experience both. So yeah, I'm just kind of chilling here. I ate my Captain Crunch yesterday, and I got some Doritos. That's my little heater candle. It's a 1,000-hour candle that you put oil in, and then normally I put my stainless steel water bottle next to it, and then it kind of gives off heat. It radiates heat really well here in the cabin. This morning I had it going. I should probably blow it out now, though. You can't really see, but on the bottom I was able to put the same little orange stand that sticks to the gas bottle for the jet boil. So on the bottom there it also has legs that stick out like 2 inches, 4 of them. So it would not be easy to tip. On the river this is okay, and I remember at Terry's in the harbor it would be okay, but if I was out anchored and it was real wavy or anything, I would definitely not have that. Or if I wasn't right next to it and in sight of it, I would never have it going. Like this morning when we woke up with that wake, if a boat went by and it went flying, that could be bad. So, anyway, hopefully we won't have to use that anymore. Maybe a few more times. Maybe this in the spring when we're going through the Erie Canal when it's cold again. But hopefully we should be getting south enough that it will be warmer and warmer. And the next 3 days after these 2 days are supposed to be in the upper 60s with lows of high 40s or mid 50s at night. So we should be good to go. No more 30s, or this morning I believe it was 29. So that was a bit chilly. One thing I did notice that I didn't really know is the charge controller actually has a temperature probe that you put back to the battery. And in the morning here, when it was cold, it actually was pumping it at 14 amps instead of, or there, 14.3 instead of the 13.7 that it normally does. It's floating, which means it's just kind of keeping the battery topped off. Boop, 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 boop. And then right there it says 2.9, which is the actual, or 2.1 switches. That's what we're using. So it's basically floating the battery, keeping it topped off, and then giving us what we need to use while we're just chilling here. Charging up our headlight batteries, our batteries, and then our radio for the day. One thing I'm gonna get ordered ahead is this is a battery charger, and that's a universal one. It'll do the 18650. It'll do any kind of battery. All right, feeling a little this morning. It's about 11:30 now, and I just wanted to get a few bolt projects. I cleaned up the galley a little more here. I always like to keep these 2 doors open so there's a good airflow back and through to the motor, kind of keep it a little cool. And then I crack that front hatch so there's a flow through. And then in the back there, there's those cowling vents. This one's on the side with the fuel tank thing, so that cleaned that out, and then it's not connected into the cabin, so you don't ever have to worry about fumes getting in there. And then we also have an engine fan that you run that'll suck out down in the bilge any fumes or CO2. And then we also run it anytime we fill up the internal fuel tank. Where was I going with that? Oh, before we left, just for noise and stuff, I put this board here, and then I put some marine carpet on it, and on the back I put some heat shielding to try and kill the noise a little from the motor, because it gets a little annoying. The previous owner, he had that board there, and then he had another one here and actually closed that completely, and to cut the noise down. But I didn't want to put that side one in there because I wanted to be able to, if anything happened, get to the motor, like if there's ever a fire or anything crazy. We have our marine fire extinguisher. We have 3 on board actually. We have one back in our fuel locker. We have one midship, and then I have one stored here underneath the sink by the head there. So we are very safe. But I just like to have that extra little flow through there of air, because otherwise there's no air for the engine, and it's good. It is water cooled, but in my head I'm thinking the air going through it kind of helps it as well a little. I have no idea if it actually does. But every little thing you can do to be easy on the engine is what you want to do. Anyway, I'm blabbing. It was really cool. The city of Cassville, I don't know if it's the captain or if it's just somebody on board, responded to the video I posted yesterday with the pictures of the barge that he took, from the barge that he took, and that was pretty cool. And then in the comments, another subscriber was asking about what they were hauling, and I thought it was grains because we just had the harvest up here in the Midwest and they want to get that down, and he responded that it was, and I thought that was pretty cool. It's pretty cool to have that feedback like live and the interaction between you guys and my subscribers, and it's kind of like a little community we're making. So kind of cool. I never thought that was going to happen at all when I left. I kind of started to do these videos just for fun and for myself, so when I get older I can look back on it and have them. And like when I did the homestead stuff, that was just to look back to when I get older, if I have dementia or something. But now it's kind of really turning into a little community. And my original channel name, Adventures in Living, I just did because when I was looking up YouTube channel stuff, they said don't pick a channel name that boxes you into your videos and what you can make them about. And I put Adventures in Living because I figured that would lead me to anything in life, and we could make videos about anything. But it actually kind of now worked really well because we're doing travel vlogging. So kind of cool. And like I was saying, it's turning into a little community. I'm liking it. I'm liking it. I actually put in an email as well down to Catalina in Florida. The company that makes the Catalina 25s, and now they make a 250. I think it was in 1990 they switched, and then they designed them different. But they said they might, somebody I emailed, and I asked, hey, when I'm coming down there, I have a YouTube channel, blah, 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 and I'm doing the Great Loop. When I come through, could I possibly do a tour of the factory? And I got a reply that, yeah, we could work that out. Let me talk to some people, and we'll get back to you. And so that's in the works. So hopefully, when we get down to Florida, we'll be able to do a tour of the Catalina factory for everybody out there. And I know a lot of these videos, people from the Catalina 25 group on Facebook, when I was restoring the boat, watch. So it'd be pretty cool for them to see. And then now I have a bunch of people from my Facebook and single-handed sailing groups watching too, so I'm sure they'll like that. It'd be kind of cool. So I'm gonna go weigh anchor, and we're gonna head on out now. I had to do all my social media updates and all that stuff, so it was taking a little while. And then do some video editing. That's one thing I wish I could improve on. I wish I had like a laptop or something, because right now I'm doing everything from my Samsung phone. Video editing, recording, navigating, talking to people, Facebook, listening to music, you know, everything. So it kind of makes it a little tricky, and I don't know how to video edit. Kind of the only thing I really know how to do is the transitions between video clips, and then I just learned how to put those pictures in the other day, so that was kind of cool. If any of you guys on YouTube that do make videos know of a good software program that I could use on my S22 phone to edit videos and is easy to learn, because I don't have a lot of time while I'm traveling here. I got to work on the boat and do all the other things. Let me know in the comments below, and that would be cool. And then I can kind of improve my videos for you guys. So we better get going, because time waits for no man. You sit here and nature don't care. You got to get moving. All right. Feeling a little this morning. It's about 11:30 now, and I just wanted to get a few boat projects. cleaned up the galley a little more here. I always like to keep these two doors open so there's a good airflow back and through to the motor, kind of keep it a little cool. And then I crack that front hatch so there's a flow through. And then in the back there, there's those cowling vents. This one's on the side with the fuel tank thing, so that cleaned that out, and then it's not connected into the cabin, so you don't ever have to worry about fumes getting in there. And then we also have an engine fan that you run that'll suck out down in the bilge any fumes or CO2. And then we also run it anytime we fill up the internal fuel tank. Where was I going with that? Oh, before we left, just for noise and stuff, I put this board here, and then I put some marine carpet on it, and on the back I put some heat shielding to try and kill the noise a little from the motor, because it gets a little annoying. The previous owner, he had that board there, and then he had another one here and actually closed that completely. And to cut the noise down, but I didn't want to put that side one in there because I wanted to be able to, if anything happened, get to the motor, like if there's ever a fire or anything crazy. We have our marine fire extinguisher. We have 3 on board actually. We have one back in our fuel locker. We have one midship. And then I have one stored here underneath the sink by the head there. So we are very safe. But I just like to have that extra little flow through there of air, because otherwise there's no air for the engine, and it's good. It is water cooled, but in my head I'm thinking the air going through it kind of helps it as well a little. I have no idea if it actually does. But every little thing you can do to be easy on the engine is what you want to do. Anyway, I'm blabbing. It was really cool. The city of Cassville, I don't know if it's the captain or if it's just somebody on board, responded to the video I posted yesterday with the pictures of the barge that he took, from the barge that he took, and that was pretty cool. And then in the comments, another subscriber was asking about what they were hauling, and I thought it was grains because we just had the harvest up here in the Midwest and they want to get that down, and he responded that it was, and I thought that was pretty cool. It's pretty cool to have that feedback like live and the interaction between you guys and my subscribers, and it's kind of like a little community we're making. So kind of cool. I never thought that was going to happen at all when I left. I kind of started to do these videos just for fun and for myself, so when I get older I can look back on it and have them. And like when I did the homestead stuff, that was just to look back to when I get older, if I have dementia or something. But now it's kind of really turning into a little community. And my original channel name, Adventures in Living, I just did because when I was looking up YouTube channel stuff, they said don't pick a channel name that boxes you into your videos and what you can make them about. And I put Adventures in Living because I figured that would lead me to anything in life, and we could make videos about anything. But it actually kind of now worked really well because we're doing travel vlogging. So kind of cool. And like I was saying, it's turning into a little community. I'm liking it. I actually put in an email as well down to Catalina in Florida, the company that makes the Catalina 25s, and now they make a 250. I think it was in 1990 they switched, and then they designed them different. But they said they might, somebody I emailed, and I asked, hey, when I'm coming down there, I have a YouTube channel, blah, 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 and I'm doing the Great Loop. When I come through, could I possibly do a tour of the factory? And I got a reply that, yeah, we could work that out. Let me talk to some people. and we'll get back to you. And so that's in the works. So hopefully when we get down to Florida, we'll be able to do a tour of the Catalina factory for everybody out there. And I know a lot of these videos, people from the Catalina 25 group on Facebook, when I was restoring the boat, watch. So it'd be pretty cool for them to see. And then now I have a bunch of people from my Facebook and single-handed sailing groups watching too, so I'm sure they'll like that. It'll be kind of cool. So I'm gonna go weigh anchor and we're gonna head on out now. I had to do all my social media updates and all that stuff, so it was taking a little while. And then do some video editing. That's one thing I wish I could improve on. I wish I had like a laptop or something, because right now I'm doing everything from my Samsung phone. Video editing, recording, navigating, talking to people, Facebook, listening to music, you know, everything. So it kind of makes it a little tricky, and I don't know how to video edit. Kind of the only thing I really know how to do is the transitions between video clips, and then I just learned how to put those pictures in the other day, so that was kind of cool. If any of you guys on YouTube that do make videos know of a good software program that I could use on my S22 phone to edit videos and is easy to learn, because I don't have a lot of time while I'm traveling here. I got to work on the boat and do all the other things. Let me know in the comments below, and that would be cool. Then I can kind of improve my videos for you guys. So we better get going, because time waits for no man. You just sit here and nature don't care. You gotta get moving. Alright, we are off. I got my sunglasses out. These aren't my preferred pair. The preferred pair I had, I broke when I was coming down loading stuff into the boat. That's where it's big. But these work. These work. Started out at like 30 something to 60 something today, so we'll probably be going from all our long underwear and stuff on to maybe a t-shirt. That would be cool. Trying to just think of what all is gonna go down today now that I'm got the motor going and we got the anchor up and are making it down river. Beautiful day. That's behind us, and over to the right side is where we can anchor outside of the channel. I know 2 days ago when I was talking about the barge video, I said I was within the markers when I was anchored, and what I meant by that is I was inside of the marker towards the shore, channel inside the markers. I just watched the video because I was commenting back and forth with the person from the city of Cassville, and then I saw that and I'm like, uh-oh, I hope people don't think I was like anchored right in the channel. I meant within the markers to shore where they wouldn't get me. Anyway, so we got maybe 8 or 9 mile an hour tailwind. So with the motor, I've been noticing where I get to put the throttle, and where I normally keep the throttle to go 5 miles an hour. With that wind today, we're actually making a 5.86. So always good. We're starting to get some wind action. Can't wait till I actually get the mast up. I miss having the sailboat part. If I wanted to be a motorboat, but I like sailing and the power of nature and one with the boat and the wind and all of that stuff. So yeah. Make sure we're within this marker here as we go by. I was a little outside of it, and with how low the river is, you got to be real. You want to make sure that you don't leave any to chance. Sorry, I put my hand over the camera. You don't want to leave anything to chance where you would accidentally end up grounding yourself, because that Mississippi mud, it'll grab you, and because it's so full of water, you can't just pull yourself off. It has kind of like a suction to it. So if you end up grounding yourself, it could be a problem. And being the sailboat, we have the swing keel, we have it retracted, so that would be the first thing that would hit. And we don't want to mess up the keel, because we need it to swing down so we can go sailing. That's the whole plan. One thing though that is a little reassuring though with that keel like that is it's ahead of the motor where the sail drive lower unit comes down. So if there was ever anything that we were going to ground or anything like that, it would kind of hit that first and it wouldn't take out our motor. So we have a powerboat recording. I was able to see in the video and see them coming up Saturday. So we have all sorts of pleasure boat traffic here. We'll have to watch out. It's crazy. The powerboats, they just sit around here and they really don't have respect for anybody most of the time. Sometimes they'll slow down for you, or they'll stay far enough away from you that it's not going to bother you. But some of them, they don't care. They go like 10 feet from you, 15 feet from you, just whoosh, and then you don't really have time to react, to turn the boat sideways to get the bow of the boat into the waves. You end up having the, so you're like, woo, oh, thanks buddy, thanks. It's not like you had the whole river to go. Anyway, a little venting there. Forgot what I was talking about. Anyway, so where do we go? We've been and go to bed early last night and get a little bit more sleep. I can tell I was starting to get sleep deprived, and watching these videos I could tell that I was getting tired, and then I can tell doing it live it's a little tricky, and it is, because you get a little nervous because you don't know what you're going to say, and then if you say something wrong and you just did a 5-10 minute video, you don't want to stop it and then redo it and lose everything you just said, because it's on the fly. You didn't have a script or anything. So I do apologize if I end up missaying things or anything. I do try to go back if I ever missay something, and I'll come back and correct it or whatnot, like I did about the channel marker today. Yeah. And then if there's anybody that sees that kind of stuff, feel free to leave it in the comments below so that I can know, and then I can mention it in the later video. Anything sitting here is real. Standing, I'm good and in the shade, but sitting, it's real. So you gotta kind of lean back, and you're good and in the shade. Otherwise, if you sit up here and you're like trying to look at the chart plotter, it's right in the face. And that's why I busted out the sunglasses. Alright, everybody. So the wind kicked up again. Got some 15-mile-an-hour winds. So all I did is went and threw the keel down. And like I was saying the other day, since we don't have a mast to give you that top weight, when there is no mast up and the keel is down and it's windy, oh my god, it's like the most stable thing ever out here. Well, not the most stable thing ever, but it's pretty cool. It's like the boat doesn't even really rock from the wind, so I like it. It's headwind, tailwind, headwind. I was trying to think of the name the other day. So, headwind from the front, tailwind from behind. It was kind of nice when we started out. We had a tailwind, and it was chilly, but now it's flipped to headwind, but it's kind of warmer because it's from the south. Some
I might end up taking the tarp down because it's flapping around pretty good sometimes. Aha, we're getting a little spray action now with the wind. So, will we push on? Too bad this wasn't a tailwind and we could throw the sails up. We'd be cruising. I have distance remoter and have my thing in miles per hour, but I know when I sail, I used to have it in knots. We would get 6.5 knots. Pretty easy. So, that would definitely be an improvement on 5 miles an hour. A knot is a little bit faster than a mile an hour. And, hopefully once we get open, we'll get the mast stuff or something. Get the sailing. I was watching some of my other videos and I kind of noticed when I switch the camera, it kind of messes up the audio. I wasn't really aware of that. So from now on I'll try to pause what I'm saying for a little bit, flip the camera, and then start talking. And then it won't end up messing up the audio or what I'm saying when I'm filming. I hadn't really had time to watch or look at any of my other videos while I was going before this morning. Pretty much sleep and go. And now I actually had some time to watch some of them, and then I could see what was going on, like when I switched the camera back and forth, how it messes up the audio, and then some of the other things. Now, sometimes I say the wrong thing and don't realize it, and later on I'm like, oh, shouldn't have said that. So just filming live and on the spot. You gotta think of everything. Right then. Starting to open up. Maybe that's why it's a little more windy. For a long time we were kind of in a river valley, and I always knew Iowa was flat. It hadn't really been flat until today. Now it really starts to open up more. Alright, we are at Lock and Dam number 12. They have some northbound pleasure craft coming through, and they're just about to let them out, so we're going to just kind of hang out up here. Get a little closer. I'll probably get down by that green channel marker there, and then just wait for the green light and head on in. Alright, the other pleasure craft, what they call them on the radio. Now it sounds like one coming on out there. It's up there. There's a flashing yellow light. Head on over. I'm not going to see it in the video here at all. So, I'll come back once we get a little closer. That's how far we are away. We got another 3 minutes. Alright, we're a little closer. Maybe I can see in the video the light up here. There it is. So, flashing green, we're good to go. So windy, I'll probably come back once we get into the lock and I got the ropes. Thought I'd give you guys a little more of a shot of what it looks like around it. I think it's in Bellevue, Iowa. Bellevue, like on the map. My pronunciations are horrible. Please, people, correct me. So, and I don't mean to. If you guys watch these videos and this is your town that I go through and I mispronounce it, I do apologize. Here we go. wind died down a little here. It's coming from the starboard side there now that we're right up against the shore there. That's a little taller than we are. Don't have much wind, whereas out there you can see. I don't know if you can tell in the video, but when you're on the boat, you can read the waves and like the little ripples, and you can see where the water is. It's kind of cool once you get used to it. It's crazy the different winds that come off of these locks and dams. Like if it's a headwind coming off the top of those dams, it's crazy. And if it's a tailwind, it's crazy, and then it depends on if it's starboard or port side and at what side of the river you're on. Alright, here is lock and dam number 12. There wasn't somebody standing down here, but I saw there was one that was kind of hanging, so I grabbed it, and they should be down then to throw me the other one hopefully here shortly. If not, we can do that back one. But we definitely need more line if we're gonna drop. Here they are now. Alright, so we're going down. It's interesting when you call it here, that's nice. You don't have to sit and wait or anything. I don't like about this side of the boat is my middle bumper isn't as big as these blue ones, and on the other side, the port side, sometimes our grill gets a little close to the wall. I thought it was kind of funny last night when I was posting my pictures with the brats and everything. Somebody commented that they always thought that was my toolbox because I hadn't used it or anything yet, and I thought that was kind of amusing. Nice to have. If I had a fridge or a freezer, then I'd be able to bring, well, a freezer, I'd be able to bring more meat, and then I'd be able to use it more, but since we don't have a way to freeze anything, we're kind of limited on foods, pastas, cereals, and or if we go into town that day, get something for that night to have. Maybe one day, you know, like I was saying in other videos, people have put solar panels not just on the back, but on the top of like the bimini frame is like a hard bimini. If we had some more panels and maybe a whole battery just to devote to the fridge freezer, you know, like added on to the system we already have, then I would feel comfortable with it. Because right now with the system we have, we're never in need of power. We're always real good for everything we need to do, and then I'm also able to charge my drill and everything with that 12-volt cigarette lighter inverter, 125 watts, so makes that nice. But just something to think about if I ever wanted to up my food quality on the ship. We could add in a freezer and then we'd be able to do more meat. But I'm not complaining. I've been eating good, and we did have a cheeseburger the other day when we went on shore, and now I got to grill some brats last night, so we're eating good. And then on the worst, we have like two months of canned foods and stuff. And then I also have MREs and stuff too. So, alright, the lock gates are open. What I do is I drop the ropes, and then what I've learned is I kick off with my foot, and that'll kind of give us a little bit of a sideways motion. Then I come run back here, grab my safety harness, clip in, and then while the doors are opening, we just wait for the signal from the lockmaster to head on out and keep heading down river. It's a pretty cool process, pretty easy. Getting used to it now. I have a system down pretty good. I know the first one or two I was like, oh, what am I doing? And now that I definitely have done it a few times. I got it down. So this is lock and dam number 12, but we have went through 10. Because we skipped lock and dam number 1 on the Mississippi. That one is up by Anoka, Minnesota. And you can't get north of that one because they have it closed because of invasive carp. And then lock and dam number 2 is a little bit south or north of Hudson. Or no, is it Hudson? Or no, kind of by Prescott there, where the St. Croix and the Mississippi connected. It's just north on the Mississippi of where we were there. So, otherwise, we've hit everyone on the way. We're going to continue to hit them all the way down to Cairo, and then we're going to split off. So I don't know if you guys can see here. Here's one of those ways I was telling you kind of how you can read the wind. We have this wall here that's blocking the wind real nice because it's tall. Once we get up to the shore there, it's kind of a downward angle, so the farther out you get from shore, it allows the wind coming from our starboard side there to go over and then kind of come down and hit the water. So since this wall is so close to us, the wind hasn't had the opportunity to get down to the water, so it kind of goes over us. But because once it ends, it's able to, you can see how it goes from kind of smooth to more ripples. Just kind of how you read the water. And then based on the ripples, the density, how close they are, and all that, you're able to kind of read if there's a gust coming, which way it's coming from, and all that. And then you're able to, when you're sailing, you can adjust your sails, get ready, loosen your main sheet, which lets the main sail off to the side, or you can, if you have just your front furler up, you can turn into the wind a little more, or turn down with the wind if you're going on a broad reach. I think it's called a broad reach. Remember, I'm still learning all those nautical terms. So, there we go. Lock and dam number 12 is behind us. Here we're starting to get some sand dunes instead of just the forest and river valley, like mountainous, not mountainous, but river valley cut into the rock that we had back up in Wisconsin, Minnesota. We're now in Iowa on the starboard side, and the port side is Illinois. Just a little update. Just cruising about 4 or 5 miles past the dam number 12. Still nice and open. Now we're kind of getting a cross breeze though down this part, which isn't as fun as when it was behind us all day. But hopefully once we get up here, we'll swing back south and, well, no, then it would be a headwind again. But at least it wouldn't be across our side. Ooh. It's not bad or anything, it just makes it a little harder to steer because you gotta steer with the gusts instead of just being able to sit here and let the boat go straight the whole time, which is nice. You just sit here and are along for the ride. But it's definitely different terrain now. It's starting to be much more open and there's lots and lots of sand compared to rock. And the trees are more green. They're not as changed as back up north, where the leaves have started to turn brown a little more. Alrighty, so here we have a little split in the river. And with, I've been reading, I guess it's a historic low low water time, navigation is pretty crazy. There's that Viking cruise ship that was supposed to come up the Mississippi and go all the way up to Minneapolis and down to New Orleans, and they can't make it all the way up here because of the historic water levels. So you gotta be careful. Make sure you're watching the channel markers and know what you're doing. Like right here's a good example. If you were just had your hummingbird chart plotter, you wouldn't know which way to go, and if you weren't following the channel markers, you might go down that way and it gets real shallow. Whereas if you follow the channel markers, you know where to go. And then I have Onyx on my phone, and that updates every day. And that's pretty cool because then you get the newest and latest water levels. And then every morning, probably about between 8 and 9, and then also at night at 8 or 9, the Coast Guard on channel 22 will do Western Rivers update for Mississippi, Illinois, and I believe it's the Missouri River. And like on the Mississippi right now, I think it's believed mile marker around 400 something. There's a sailing event there every Saturday, and then they give you the channel of the boat that's watching it all through contact, so you can navigate the area. And then they tell you if any of the beacons are gone, moved, or broken, and any other updates you need, which is really nice. So every day it's always good to be listening. I have my radio on scan, and then I put on pretty much every channel that you can, not every channel on the list, but I do 22, 9, 13, 14, 16 of course, 22 for the Coast Guard, 68, I think 68, 69, 71, 72, the Pleasure Craft one, and then I believe one other one. I looked it all up on YouTube. Tonight at Anchor, if I remember. If not, in the coming videos, I'll do a video all about the marine radio and what channels you want to listen to and what the different ones are. The main important ones are, of course, 16, that's your emergency channel. 9 is your calling channel. 13 is bars to bars traffic. And 14 is contact, the locks. And then all those other ones you just kind of have just to see what's around. And then you turn up the squelch on your radio where it'll scan. You just turn your radio on, and you don't have to squelch up to like 2 or 3. It won't scan at all. The first day or two I had it like that, and I'm like, why is this radio not scanning? And then also, if you guys remember in my first video, it had that static sound. That's from having the squelch too low on the handheld. So you want to go, you're just on one channel, you go up one above where that static is, and that'll give you the farthest range. Or if you're on scan on the standard HX895890, sorry, about 4, and then it will not, or it will scan. If you're below that, it won't scan. It'll stay on a single channel. It won't make the static noise, but it'll stay on 16. I'm trying to think of what else I should say. With the handheld, you would be, oh, I'm forgetting to pause when I switched the video there. I caught myself. Everybody told me the handheld radio would be good to go, nothing to worry about. And I'm learning it does not have a super long range. When you come up to the locks and dams, you have maybe a mile and a half, 2 miles out. Any farther than that, you get there and they're like, you were breaking up a bunch when you first called us. Or you'll call them and you'll be waiting and you think you called them and you don't hear anything, and they're wondering, did I get to them or not? But it's also different at each lock and dam. I don't know where they set up their antennas. Some can hear you way far away and they come through like perfect, like cell phone quality. And then other ones, you'll be real close and you can't, they'll be all, and you can barely hear them. So I don't know if it's their antenna or mine, but nothing's been different with my radio between them. So I'm guessing it has something to do with where they have their shore antenna set up and all that. So the plan is here, Alton, Illinois. We're about 200 miles from it, so 4 or 5 days. One of our subscribers that's been watching our videos lives there. So we're going to meet him and he might help us. And then I am also a Freemason, and there's a Mason Lodge there, and I contacted them and they said that they could have a guy come out and help me if I needed it, or bring me to town for groceries or anything as well in Alton. So we got lots of options to help get the mass stuff and go get supplies there. We just got to get there now. So I think I've decided I'm not going to stop in Savannah. I don't need to see a biker bar. I've seen biker bars. I can see pictures online. I'd rather be out here in the wind and the waves. That's just what I like to do. That's what I want to do. So we'll push on. I think we're about 5 miles now, 4 or 5 miles north of Savannah. So I'm trying to decide if I want to top off my gas when we're there. We don't have to, but I always like to try to keep it as full as I can, just in case anything happens and like there's a crazy emergency. I just always think I'm going to be traumatized maybe for the rest of my life from COVID. We always think back on people from the Great Depression and our grandparents, and you're like, why did they save bacon, grease, and this and that, even after the Depression? And I'm not worried about COVID or anything, but you still have that, you know, what if everything shuts down? I should have enough, just in case, attitude. I'm probably going to have that for the rest of my life now. And it paid off on the homestead, because we did not go without anything. We had a fuel barrel, 300-gallon fuel barrel. We heat with wood and Walmart pickup orders. Me and my dad were chilling when he was sick there and passing away, and we were able to not worry about COVID. Watch it from afar and go, ah. And then we also had Minneapolis at the time, and I don't want to say GF's name, not to be rude or anything, but the way YouTube works is if you say controversial subjects, even COVID, I'm worried about, they might demonetize your video. When you guys watch the ads, it'll immediately demonetize it. So when that happened, and so we were watching that on TV, I remember I watched it on TV live. There was unicorn riots. He was a YouTuber that was live streaming, and they burnt down this big building. And I called my mom, because I had never seen a building that big on fire from a riot before. It was like a 3 or 4 story apartment building that was just getting ready to open. And I called my mom at like 3 in the morning, 2 or 3 in the morning. I'm like, Mom, the city's on fire. Look out your window. And she thought I was on drugs or something. She's like, what are you talking about? Whatever. And then she was kind of quiet, because she walked over to the window, and then all of a sudden I just heard her go, oh my God! Oh my God! She didn't believe it. From where she was in Nicollet Towers, up in the middle of it, you could see out like all over the city, and she said it was just crazy. It lit it up like she had never ever seen. And so we had all that on the homestead, and we were just watching from afar, going, crazy. And then fixing up. So anyway, because of that, I developed the attitude to always want to have enough, so that if anything happens, you're prepared to go for a while. So, with the 10-gallon tank, we should be able to go 100 miles, and then with these two, we should be able to go another 100 miles, 200 miles, but I always want to make sure they're topped off. We go about 50 miles a day. We go through about 5 gallons, so like one of these jugs. And then a lot of the time in the morning, I'll fill up the tank. And then when we're going in the middle of the day or towards the end of the day, I'll stop somewhere and then fill everything up. And then And I've always made sure squirt pump, because that one leaks a lot when you try to lift it up. We've always had that for a spare. And then we have our 2-gallon one down there as a spare for Johnson. And I also have a 5-gallon one here that I'll have for a spare. And also for a spare, and then also when we get down to like the Gulf, we're going out into the, away from shore more. We don't want any like Moby Dick action going on, or Castaway. We don't have when we're out in the Gulf or anything, so I want to make sure I have plenty of fuel, plenty of water, plenty of food. So onward we go. Oh, sorry, I forgot. Back to VHF radio. We're going to step the mast in Alton, but then once I get down past St. Louis and Cape Jerdees or Cape whatever, I have a friend that lives there, and that's where I'm going to be sending supplies to pick up that I ordered on Amazon. That's kind of like the halfway mark on the river, and before you would go up to Ohio. And I figured by there, if there was anything I needed, I would figure it out. I'm going to end up getting a hardwired radio, and then if we will have to, we can wire it in the mast, lower the mast down quick so we can hook up the antenna, and we'll raise it back up, and then I'll be a lot better equipped with a radio. And having a radio on a mast like that, you'll get amazing range to be able to hear stuff, and I won't ever have to worry about the lockmasters not hearing me. And then also when we're down in the Gulf, off of shore, these handheld radios only go like 3, 4, maybe 5 miles at most. I've seen online people say, but I have not had that real world experience. It could be just because we're in these river valleys, so it doesn't go that far. And if you were out in open water, you know, then it might go that far. That's not as far as we need for in the Gulf of Mexico. It's probably going to be at least more than 5 miles. Possibly. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But I want to have that ability if I need to call somebody and go, help, that they will hear me on the radio. We do have on the back of those distress buttons, and that uses like the built-in GPS. There's a certain channel on the VHS that goes out on, and it actually transmits your position, and that'll actually go a little farther. So if you are out there and something happens, you can push that, but you don't want to, because I've heard stories online. If the Coast Guard comes and gets you and they say it wasn't that bad of a situation to them, they can charge you, and you'll end up with like a $5,000 or a $500,000 bill because they sent out a helicopter to get you, and you were freaking out. And to the Coast Guard, who deals with weather all the time, and they're like, that was nothing. I don't think that would happen, but you never want to have that situation. So it would be better just to have a little bit more range on our radio, so if I needed to, I could call and go, hey! Get another boater instead of the Coast Guard and a huge fine if that happened. So that's enough about the VHF. I'm blabbing again. I never know if you guys like my blabbing sections, but I'm kind of by myself on a boat, so talking to the camera is all I really get to do. So me, I could just sit here and talk and talk and talk, but I try to limit it because we don't want to end up with like a 5-hour video every day. I would never be able to upload that. Alright everybody, we're getting up to the bridge in Savannah, Illinois. Every time I hear Savannah, I want to say Georgia, but somebody downriver just actually sent me an update are getting ready to come into Savannah, Illinois. Pass under the bridge, and we'll keep on moving. It's another beautiful, beautiful sunset here on the river. It's about 5:10. Sunset should be about 6:30, so we should be looking at another hour or two. On Navonics, where I checked where there was a pull off outside of the channel markers that looked good. Either had an option for 10 miles after Savannah, 15, or 20. So all of these are good options. So continue on. Checked out the fuel, we're doing good, so might as well. Because I don't like having to wear all of this cold weather gear. It's fun and I don't mind it, but if I get warmer weather and be hanging out in shorts, I would definitely prefer that. Savannah, Illinois. As you can see, the telltales, we have a headwind and no smell from the industrial or food zone. I believe that's from the rain. So, Savannah, Illinois smells good on the river. So, with these historic water levels, you can really start to notice it. You can tell where the marks on all the rivers are where the river normally flows. This is pretty good. One of them has about 55 feet. The river's like a good 5-6 feet shallower than normal. Down south, there's all the barges that are caught. So in reality, I'm kind of glad once we get to Carroll, we're going to be splitting over to the Ohio and up over to the Tennessee Tom and down into Kentucky. Then we are not going to have to worry about all those barges in the lower Mississippi and low water levels. I feel really bad for those barge guys. I know we have the city of Cassville as a subscriber, and I hope they get it figured out for you guys. That's got to be stressful for you guys navigating and worrying about, what you're going to do for your job. I don't know if, like, they shut down barges, how that would work. If you guys get unemployment, or no matter what, if you're on the ship sitting, chilling, even in the river and low water levels, you guys are getting paid. So maybe it's a good thing. You guys get to chill and watch TV or something. I don't know what the living accommodations are on those barges. City of Cassville, if you could, in the comments, it'd be kind of cool to hear, like, what they have for crew quarters and all that. So, here we go. Savannah, Illinois. Under the bridge we go. Ooh, it's cold in the shade here. Shiver me timbers. Ah, warmth. I still, every time I get a kick out of going under those bridges. I come back to that first one we went through, and it wasn't even that big or that tall. It was just in awe. And now it's like, yeah, bridge. Whatever. Some cool little town. It looks like they're trying to build a seawall there or something. I'm not quite sure. Over here we got some barges parked. I don't know if that's because of low water levels or they're just chilling waiting for that grain to get loaded on. In the comments, somebody asked if I would say water depth every once in a while, and like when I anchor and stuff. So, like right now, we are in 23.1 feet of water. On our Hummingbird here, it only distinguishes 10 and 20 out of marks. But the Hummingbird map really is not up to date at all, especially these, even though it's the newest updated Hummingbird map from their webpage. I think it's like a year or two old, and it has some of the channel markers and stuff, but it really doesn't look for depths or anything. It's more you kind of get an idea where the water is, so you know you're in the water, and then watch the depth, and then it gives you a rough idea. Like if you see somewhere where it's, you know, really different, or you can tell it's really, really shallow, a big area, then you go, oh, and then you can look on your Navonics, which updates every day. Every morning I check it and download the new map when I'm listening to the Coast Guard broadcast on channel 22, and then that has all the newest updated water levels and stuff. But it's not, you know, completely accurate either. It's just going by the fact that in the area they say the river dropped this far, and then it updates. It says the water dropped this far, but it, you know, there's little areas where it can change. Different parts of the river where the water levels are different, I think. Hey, we'll push on here. Jumped up. That was kind of cool. We're going to keep pushing on here, and once the sun goes down a little bit more, we'll stop and anchor for a bit. I'll throw on the lights, grab me a can of Chef Boyardee spaghetti and meatballs, and come on here. We'll probably do a few hours of night. A little bit. We have a rail bridge by Subula, and we should be good to go. Alright, here is the Subula rail bridge, like I was saying, and I just called ahead and asked what their clearance is, and it's 5.5 meters or 20 feet, and that we would not have been able to make it through if we had the mast up. We would have had to call ahead. So I can see why when I was doing my research they said keep your mast down to Alton, Illinois, and then after Alton, Illinois you should be good to go through all of the bridges that are 50 feet and higher. So, but we could have called ahead and had them open it. I don't think that would have been a big problem at all. So, here is Subula. Starting to go down, and it's getting chilly again. kind of want to try to get out as I can, as fast as I can, but also because I was looking ahead here, it looks like in the coming week, maybe it was Tuesday, Wednesday, or Wednesday, Thursday, it's going to rain, be stormy. It's going to be cold, wet, rainy, and stormy. I've made pretty good progress. I think I would be willing to just call it a day in the cabin and be able to do some road projects. our success of getting this far south as quick as we have. Star Wars and the first one, Subula. So yeah, I can definitely see now why, like in the Great Loop when they were saying sailboats started up in the St. Croix, there would be bridges that you wouldn't be able to get under with your mast. They do open, so that's not an issue, but we won't have to do it. Looks like the guys just up there. One's coming in, one's going out. Well, one thing with the low water level on the Mississippi and all the barge traffic shut down is we haven't really had to worry about any barges, so that's always a good thing. Definitely always a good thing. Down there. The river is getting chilly. Well, there they go. They must have been like, this is what's going on tonight, Bob. Alright, Bob. Alright, Phil. See you later. I don't know what they're doing. Oh, yeah. We can clear this. No problem. It reminds me of, speaking of it, the first bridge we went under, where we did not have any clearance, really. So, there we go. The Subula rail bridge. We push on. I think the plan is on Mavonics, maybe I'll do another 5 miles, then pull over, and we'll put on our cold weather gear, and keep on moving, because tonight full moon, and that'll be the brightest night. All the nighttime probably be. It might be a little chilly, so we'll have to get out our Carhartts. But I think it'll be kind of worth it. Alright, everybody. So we pulled over. We got our cold weather gear on. I anchored for a little bit. Another beautiful, beautiful full moon. This next stretch of the river is pretty narrow. And I saw on the AIS there's actually a barge coming. And it's probably about a half hour down. And if I leave now, it's pretty much we're going to meet in the middle part of where I want to anchor. Or at least the next little pull-off, I mean. And then I wouldn't be able to have a really good pull-off area. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to wait till he passes, because this is their job. I'm out here for fun. And once he passes, then we'll weigh anchor and head on down river. Tonight's the actual full moon, and there is almost no wind. It's going to just be an amazing night. Alright, everybody, that's it for the night. I only did about another 4 or 5 miles after the sun went down. We're about 6 or 7 miles north of Lock and Dam number 13 in Fulton. And we'll hit that in the morning. I know there's the full moon. It'll be a good night to move, but I need sleep. So, if you guys have any questions about anything you've seen today, leave them in the comments below. Hit that like button and subscribe. It helps us out. I'll see you guys later.